following pictures were taken during World War II. I left the States December the 24th, 1943, and I arrived in Pearl Harbor, January 1944. Now, these pictures were taken during the 9 major invasions. This is a picture of the team that I worked with during the time I was in the Pacific. We had 4 radiomen and 2 signalmen. I was one of the signalmen. These fellas from Missouri, California, Philadelphia, Kentucky, and Ohio. And we were together during the entire time in the Pacific operations. Pearl Harbor on one of our first liberties, and we went the way of most sailors. We went into town and had our picture taken with one of the locals. This is a friend of mine, and we both have big smiles on our faces, as you can see, so we certainly were enjoying ourselves at that particular time. Taken in front of the Royal Hawaiian Hotel, while again on liberty. As I said, when we arrived in January, we were able to get around and get into town, into Waikiki and Honolulu. So we took advantage of this, knowing that in the future, we may be tied up for some time to come. Again, this is another picture right near the Royal Hawaiian Hotel in Waikiki, and my camera case strapped there, so you know that I intended to get some pictures in Waikiki and Honolulu. Now we have a picture here of one of the fellows that was in the control communications team with me, Len Collins. Now this is a picture of the USS Fayette. This is the transport we were on for our first invasion, which was the Marshall Islands, which took place on January the 31st, 1944. And we were hitting Kwajalein. There was Kwajalein and Eniwetok. I was aboard this ship for transportation to the operation. Now, I'm working the single light aboard the Fayette as we're underway for the invasion of Kwajalein and the Marshall Islands. These lights are usually used during the daytime. Naturally, at night, you naturally don't want any light around at all. They do have a infrared filter that they can put over the light so that they can use it for sending messages without it. This is a picture of one of the signalmen aboard the ship, a fellow by the name of Johnny Bateman, and he's using the semaphore to contact one of the ships in the convoy. Now this is a picture of PC 1178. That means patrol craft or sub-chaser. We had completed our invasion of the Marshall Islands, and we hit the 2 islands there, Kwajalein, in Annie-Weetalk. We hit Kwajalein, as I said, on January 31st, 1944, and we hit Annie-Weetalk on February the 17th, 1944. So after returning to Pearl, why, we were getting prepared to hit the Marianas, which was Saipan and Tinian. And we went aboard this subchaser for transportation for that operation. Our job on these operations was either to control traffic on radio or on light signaling or semaphore flags from either ship to shore, or we'd go on the beach and set up communications and work from a foxhole or any other means to get in contact with our ships on just what was needed on the operation, whether to send in more ammunition or tanks or etc., or keep in touch as to how the operation was going. So this was Glenn Collins, the fellow from Missouri. He's one of our radio men, and he's standing a watch on the PC as we're on our way to the Mariana invasion. Invasion had been on for a while. This is a picture of a sugarcane mill, or what's left of it, on Saipan. We hit there on June the 15th, 1944. Quite a few casualties. And that stack you see in the back there on the sugarcane factory, why, they had a Jap up there, and he was a spotter. And he would spot different ships laying out in the bay and radio them to their artillery, which was up in the mountains. And until they found him or knew he was up there, why, a few of our ships were hit. Eventually they did locate this spotter, and they machine gunned the tower, or the stack there, and after that we didn't have a problem with that one spotter. They wanted to leave the stack intact for different positions they used bearings from, so they didn't want to really destroy it. Now this is a picture of another mill along the shore on Saipan that had been destroyed. Here we have a picture of a Japanese plane that was shot down while we were on the beach. Some of the landing craft you can see in the background. He came in strafing the beaches as we were in there and in our foxholes, and eventually, as I said, he was shot down by our ship's gunners. Picture here of two of my friends and myself. We got a hold of a Japanese flag and two Japanese rifles, so we were posing for these pictures. The fellow on the right, I knew him for maybe 6-7 months. I hadn't seen him after this particular picture. I really don't know what happened to him. fellow on the left, same thing. I hadn't seen him after this, even when the war ended. These fellows were from another control team. This is a picture of some Japanese civilians that we had working for us, rolling in drums of fuel for our trucks and other transportation. That's a coral reef that they're standing on, and they're rolling these into the beaches. This is a picture of a dead Jap floating in the water, and there were quite a number of those. We secured this operation on Saipan, and we were getting prepared to hit Tinian, which is also part of the Marianas. So the Tinian invasion came on July the 24th, 1944. Pretty close to roughly a little over a month away. Tinian was just in sight from Saipan. This is a picture of Gig Young, a fellow from Kentucky. And before he came into the service, why, he said that he went barefoot most of the time. So when he got out in the Pacific, and when he could, he'd cut holes in the front of his shoes so that he could get enough air in there. Now this fellow here, he just turned 17 years old. He looks like an old man. Now this was taken aboard ship again when we were getting ready for the invasion of Tinian. Gig was the other signalman besides myself. This fella, taken shortly after the picture I took of Gig Young, why, he's John Comus from Philadelphia. I never knew him before, but just by accident we met when we got together on this team. He's one of the radio operators, along with Collins from Missouri and another fellow from California, Frenchie, and another fellow from Missouri, which was by the name of Burnett. We had, as I said, we had four radiomen, 2 signalmen, and 1 officer. So we completed the operation in the Marshall Islands with the invasion of Tinian, which we wrapped up, as I said, on July the 24th, 1944. And the next operation was in the Palau Group, which took place on September the 15th, 1944, just a few months after the invasion of the Marianas. Here you see what we call M tracks going in the first or second wave to hit the beach. These tracks carry the men up over the coral reefs and onto the beaches. Back in the background there, you might see a bursting shell or mortar. Where the smoke is the beach that has been bombarded before we go in. This is we're heading in the Palau Group, and this is Palalilu. The other island we're going to hit will be Angbar. This is another shot of the beach ahead as the M tracks are headed towards it. these beaches had to be bombarded quite a bit. The coral reefs, they had made a number of caves, which made it very hard to knock them out. Another shot going into the beaches on Vallejo. This is a picture of our officer, Archie Arm. He was from Missouri. He was a good fella. And he's working on the radio communications. Picture of Collins, the radio operator, in our working equipment. This is just after the operation at Vallejo, and we were getting prepared for the operation to invade Anguar, which was an island nearby.